I guess my biggest lament is that there are going to be future generations who are not going to have any idea who the Huxtables were.
I think, like a lot of people, I was really giving Bill the benefit of the doubt. This was not the man that I knew.
Oh my God. This isn't just Hollywood drama. This is about one of the most beloved sitcom families in television history, completely falling apart behind the scenes. And the secrets that Malcolm-Jamal Warner has been keeping for over 30 years, they're finally coming to light in ways that nobody expected. You guys, when I tell you, this story goes deeper than anything we thought we knew about The Cosby Show, I'm not even exaggerating. Because Malcolm-Jamal Warner, the actor who played Theo Huxtable, has been carrying around information about what really happened to Lisa Bonet during those years. And honestly, when you hear what he's been saying in recent interviews, it makes everything about that show look completely different. So let me take you back to the beginning, because this story starts way before any of us knew what was really going on. The Cosby Show premiered in 1984, and it literally changed television forever. Here was this beautiful African-American family, successful, loving, funny, and America fell in love with them. Bill Cosby played Dr. Cliff Huxtable, the father everyone wished they had. Felicia Rashad was the perfect mother, Claire. And then there were the kids. Malcolm-Jamal Warner was just 14 when he got cast as Theo, the lovable son who couldn't quite get his grades together but had the biggest heart. And Lisa Bonet? She was only 16 when she started playing Denise, the free-spirited, artsy daughter who marched to her own beat. These were real kids, thrown into this massive television phenomenon, working with someone they looked up to as a father figure. But here's where the story gets complicated, and this is what Malcolm-Jamal has been talking about more openly lately. The relationship between Bill Cosby and Lisa Bonet was intense, and not in a good way. While America was watching this perfect TV family, behind the scenes there was something much darker happening. Lisa Bonet was different from the other kids on the show. She was rebellious, artistic, and as she got older, she started questioning things. She didn't want to just be America's sweetheart forever. She wanted to grow up, to explore more mature roles, to be seen as an adult actress. And according to what Malcolm-Jamal has been saying, Bill Cosby did not like that one bit. You guys, the control that Cosby had over that set was unlike anything most people understand. He wasn't just the star, he was the executive producer, he had creative control, and everyone knew that what Bill said went. And when it came to Lisa Bonet, that control became something much more troubling. Malcolm-Jamal has talked about how protective he felt of Lisa during those years. They were both teenagers navigating this incredible fame, but Lisa was dealing with additional pressures that the rest of them weren't experiencing. And when you look at what happened to her career trajectory compared to everyone else from that show, the pattern becomes pretty clear. In 1987, Lisa Bonet got the opportunity to star in a movie called Angel Heart with Mickey Rourke. It was a dark psychological thriller, completely different from The Cosby Show. And there were some intimate scenes in that movie that showed Lisa as a grown woman, not the innocent Denise Huxtable that America knew. When Bill Cosby saw that movie, according to multiple sources who were there, he was furious. But here's what Malcolm-Jamal has been revealing that makes this story even more disturbing. The way Cosby reacted wasn't just professional disappointment. It was personal. It was controlling. And it was, according to Malcolm-Jamal's recent statements, part of a pattern of behavior that nobody on that set felt comfortable talking about at the time. Malcolm-Jamal has described feeling like he was watching someone he cared about being systematically isolated and punished for wanting to have agency over her own career and her own life. And you guys, when you think about what we know now about Bill Cosby and his treatment of women, these stories take on a completely different meaning. The tension between Cosby and Lisa Bonet got so bad that she was essentially written off The Cosby Show. They created a spin-off called A Different World and sent her character to college. But even that didn't work out the way anyone hoped. Lisa was removed from that show too after just one season. The official reason given was creative differences, but Malcolm-Jamal has suggested that the real reasons were much more personal and much more concerning. And then there's what happened when Lisa Bonet got married to Lenny Kravitz in 1987. and had a baby. You guys, the way Bill Cosby reacted to her pregnancy was, according to Malcolm-Jamal, completely inappropriate. Instead of being supportive of this young woman who was starting her own family, Cosby apparently saw it as another betrayal, another way that Lisa was refusing to stay in the box he had created for her. Malcolm-Jamal has talked about feeling helpless during this time. He was still just a kid himself, trying to navigate his own career and his own relationship with Cosby, but he was watching someone he cared about being treated in ways that didn't feel right. And the guilt he's carried about not speaking up sooner is something he's been dealing with for decades. But here's what makes Malcolm-Jamal's recent revelations so significant. He's not just talking about workplace drama or creative differences. He's talking about a pattern of control and manipulation that went way beyond what anyone should have to deal with, especially someone who is barely an adult. The entertainment industry in the 1980s was a very different place than it is today. There was no Me Too movement, no social media to call out bad behavior, no real support system for young actors who found themselves in difficult situations. And when the person exhibiting problematic behavior was someone as powerful and beloved as Bill Cosby, speaking up felt impossible. Malcolm-Jamal has described the culture on The Cosby Show set as being like a family, but not necessarily a healthy family. There was love there was genuine care between the cast members, but there was also this underlying tension that everyone felt, but nobody talked about. And at the center of it all was Bill Cosby, who demanded absolute loyalty and absolute control. You guys, when you watch old episodes of The Cosby Show now, knowing what Malcolm-Jamal has revealed and knowing what we've learned about Bill Cosby in recent years, it hits so differently. You can see the dynamics playing out right there on screen. You can see how Lisa Bonet's character gradually got less screen time, how her storylines became more marginalized, how she was slowly being pushed out of the family that had made her famous. And Malcolm-Jamal has talked about how difficult it was to watch this happening in real time. He knew Lisa was struggling, he knew something wasn't right about how she was being treated, but he also knew that speaking up could have consequences for his own career and for the entire show that so many people depended on. The pressure on all of them was enormous. The Cosby Show wasn't just a TV show, it was a cultural phenomenon. It was representing African American families in a way that had never been done on television before. The success of that show meant jobs for hundreds of people. It meant opportunities for other Black actors and creators. And it meant something really important to millions of viewers who finally saw themselves represented on primetime television. So when things started going wrong behind the scenes, everyone felt the weight of keeping those problems private. Because speaking up didn't just mean potentially ending their own careers, it meant potentially destroying something that was bigger than any of them individually. But Malcolm-Jamal has been clear in recent interviews that staying silent was one of the biggest regrets of his life. He's talked about wishing he had been braver, wishing he had found a way to support Lisa Bonet more effectively, wishing he had spoken up about what he was witnessing, even if it meant facing consequences. And you guys, when you look at what happened to Lisa Bonet's career after she left The Cosby Show, the impact of that treatment becomes really clear. She never achieved the same level of mainstream success again. She continued acting, she had some beautiful roles and worked with some amazing directors, but she never got the opportunity to become the major star that she could have been. Meanwhile, the other kids from The Cosby Show went on to have varying degrees of continued success in Hollywood. Malcolm-Jamal himself had a steady career in television and theater. But Lisa Bonet, who is arguably the most talented and certainly the most unique performer among all of them, found herself essentially blacklisted from the kind of major studio projects that could have made her a household name. Malcolm-Jamal has suggested that this wasn't an accident. He's talked about how word gets around in Hollywood, about how certain people can make it very difficult for someone to get work if they want to. And when that someone is as powerful and well-connected as Bill Cosby was at the height of his career, the impact can be devastating and long-lasting. But here's what makes this story even more heartbreaking. According to Malcolm-Jamal, Lisa Bonet never lost her spirit, never lost her artistic integrity, never compromised who she was to try to get back in Bill Cosby's good graces. She chose authenticity over career advancement, she chose personal truth over professional success, and she paid a price for that choice that lasted for decades. You guys, when Malcolm-Jamal talks about Lisa Bonet now, there's so much admiration in his voice, but there's also so much sadness. He's talked about how she was ahead of her time, how she was speaking truth about women's autonomy and artistic freedom before the culture was ready to hear it. And he's talked about how the way she was treated was a preview of the kind of systematic silencing of women that we now know was happening throughout the entertainment industry. The thing is, Malcolm-Jamal's revelations aren't happening in a vacuum. They're coming at a time when we're all re-examining what we thought we knew about Bill Cosby and about the culture that allowed his behavior to continue for so long. And when you add Malcolm-Jamal's perspective to everything else we've learned, the picture becomes even more disturbing. Because this wasn't just about one powerful man abusing his position with adult women. This was about someone who had authority over teenagers, who was supposed to be protecting and mentoring young performers, using that power to control and punish them when they didn't comply with his expectations. Malcolm-Jamal has been very careful in how he talks about these issues. He's not making wild accusations or trying to sensationalize what happened. But he's been clear that the treatment Lisa Bonet received was wrong, that it was part of a larger pattern of problematic behavior, and that his silence about it for so long is something he deeply regrets. And you guys, the timing of these revelations is significant. Malcolm-Jamal isn't a young actor trying to get attention or revive his career. He's an established performer and director who has built a solid reputation in the industry. When someone like him decides to speak up about something that happened decades ago, it's because he feels a moral obligation to tell the truth, even if it's uncomfortable. The impact on Lisa Bonet herself has been profound. She's never been someone who talks a lot to the media. She's always been private about her personal life and her career experiences. But the few times she has spoken about her time on The Cosby Show, there's been a sadness there, a sense of lost opportunities and difficult memories that she's still processing. And Malcolm-Jamal has talked about how important it is for Lisa Bonet to know that she wasn't alone during those difficult years, that the people who worked with her saw what was happening and recognized it wasn't right. Even if they weren't able to stop it at the time, they witnessed it, they remember it, and they're finally willing to talk about it. You guys, the story is about so much more than just Hollywood drama or behind-the-scenes gossip. This is about young people trying to navigate an industry that was designed to exploit them, about the long-term consequences of staying silent when you witness abuse, and about the courage it takes to finally speak truth, even when that truth is complicated and painful. Malcolm-Jamal Warner's decision to finally reveal what he witnessed during those years isn't just about honoring Lisa Bonet's experience, though that's certainly part of it. It's also about taking responsibility for his own role in a system that allowed harmful behavior to continue, and it's about making sure that future generations of young performers don't have to face the same kind of treatment without support. The entertainment industry has changed a lot since the 1980s, but many of the power dynamics that made Lisa Bonet's experience possible are still in place. Young performers are still vulnerable to exploitation by powerful figures. Women are still punished for asserting their autonomy, and speaking up about abuse still requires enormous courage and often comes with significant consequences. But stories like Malcolm-Jamal's give hope that change is possible. When people who witnessed harm decide to speak up, when they choose truth over comfort, when they prioritize protecting others over protecting themselves, it creates space for healing and for justice. You guys, I think about Lisa Bonet now, living her life quietly, raising her children, continuing to work on projects that matter to her. And I think about how different things might have been if the industry had been ready to support and protect her when she was just a teenager trying to grow up in the spotlight. And I think about all the young performers who are facing similar challenges right now and how important it is that they know they're not alone. Malcolm-Jamal Warner's willingness to finally speak about what he witnessed during those years is a gift to everyone who cares about justice, about protecting young people in the entertainment industry, and about making sure that powerful people can't continue to abuse their positions without consequences. And honestly, when you think about the courage it took for him to speak up now, knowing that it would bring up painful memories and difficult questions, it makes you appreciate even more the importance of truth-telling, even when that truth is hard to hear. So what do you guys think about Malcolm-Jamal's revelations? Do you think he should have spoken up sooner? Or do you understand why it took so long for him to feel ready to share what he witnessed? And what do you think this means for how we understand the Cosby Show and its legacy now that we know more about what was really happening behind the scenes? Let me know in the comments what you think about this whole situation, because honestly, I'm still processing all of it myself. If you found this story as compelling and heartbreaking as I did, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the real stories behind Hollywood's biggest scandals. And hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates on this developing story, because something tells me there's still more to come.